All right, hey, what's up YouTube? Cheap Dad, F6B, back at it again. And so going to try to put these suckers on a key. You know, it's the kind of thing that people make it look so easy. And I wish it was. But I've been stressing over this for a while. These are the knobs. These puppies run you about $7 a piece, okay? And I've got my key cut already. I got a couple of these cut. The keys were another $7, $8 a piece. So it's not a cheap modification for sure. And of course, everybody wants them here for your gas tank. Everybody wants one here so you can actually use your glove box. This thing, it just stays like that 90% of the time because I don't feel like pulling my key out and putting anything in there. So that I got another key for that one, and I'm going to get a third key cut. And I know a lot of people are against this and say you shouldn't do it or whatever, but wanted to go back here. Now, again, Cruiseman, everybody makes it look really simple. But especially when you get to this one back here, I mean, it's a little challenging. You don't have a whole lot of room to play with. You're cutting these keys off at different lengths, okay? So for this to stick out, go in here and operate, I mean, it's got to be, well, I don't know. That might be okay like that. There's kind of a lip in there. So yeah, that kind of looks like it might fit in. Looks like it. But I definitely want one back here. I leave this key back here a lot of the time. And then I have to pull it out when I go into a store or something. And I just want to be able to leave it there. Because most people, if they see the key, yeah, they might grab it, go ahead and start your bike up and take off. I doubt it. 860 pounds or whatever. If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to dump it real quick. But these is going to be, looks like a different height there, okay? So, again, cheapest way to try to make this happen, because you got keys, if I did 3 keys, what's that, $23? These with shipping, 3 of them run you $30, okay? So adds up pretty quick. All of a sudden you got $51 into your project already. And then Cruiseman, I don't have your Dremel money, okay? Wish I did. They're pretty cheap. I mean, online, you keep seeing them online for 21 bucks. You can get one at a couple at Amazon. Comes with some attachments. I've got some inquiries out right now to see if there's any cutting wheels on those Dremels that will allow me to cut a key, okay? Because that's the thing. They say, well, 21 bucks for a Dremel, now you're going out and going to Lowe's and spending something that you can really use it with. So I did splurge. I went ahead and bought this, $26 4-inch vise. I never had one. Just real quick, if you get this, I'll put it in a quick picture here. If you get this, these are 2.5-inch stainless steel bolts I got from, or 2-inch 3/8 stainless steel bolts that I got from Lowe's, and I drilled 1/2-inch holes so you can mess up a little bit and not have to worry about it. I wouldn't suggest probably drilling the exact size. You don't need to. Those snuggled up real good underneath my cheap work table here. Yeah, so this seems to hold this pretty good, but again, not having Dremel money, this is going to make this a little tricky. What am I going to use? Yeah, you guessed it, hacksaw. I mean, that's what Cruiseman said we could use, so we're going to give it a try. Check out that blade. Yeah, Lowe's wanted $3 for 2 blades. I couldn't even spring that, man. This blade's been on here for, gosh, 30 years. I've probably owned that hacksaw, never changed it. So we're going to see if it'll still cut a key. check that out in a second. And then here's the real thing that you got to, if you don't have a Dremel. Again, a Dremel makes this job so much easier. But if you don't have the Dremel, how the heck are you going to get in there and cut that notch that you need to put that key in? Okay, by the way, I don't have a file either. I thought I did, but I don't have a file. So it's going to go straight into this puppy and this be cut out. Whatever I have to do to that, to make that notch there, is what I'm going to have to do to make that fit. So, but we're going to give it a whirl here in a second. Now, I did think at first of all, you know, let's get a blade or something to go inside there. I thought about one of those little work that looks like a pencil that you have a little blade on the end. Couldn't find any, so I went out and bought some brand new blades for this. It's hard to do. I thought the strategy was to, and you can see I worked on this one a little bit. It's hard to focus in there. It doesn't want to focus. Gosh darn it. Let's get this over in the light a little bit more. It just does not want to focus on there for you guys. But anyway, there's a little notch that I was able to notch out with this, and then I took a pair of needle nose pliers and kind of put it back and forth and put a real small notch in there. It didn't work very well, quite honestly. There it is. You can kind of see it. So it didn't work very well. You see the Gorilla Glue back there. I did splurge $5 for that. But there is a little crevice in there, but it's not down far enough. So I thought, what do I have lying around? And I bought this. Again, this is probably about the cheapest soldering gun that you can find. And I thought, well, that's got a good enough point on there. Let's heat that up and melt it down, okay? So I'm going to try that. Crazy, I know, but I'm going to heat that up and try to melt down the notch that I need in this sucker and see if that works. And that's really, I'm going to do that first so I determine how much of this key I got to cut off. Because again, I don't have a file, I don't have a Dremel, so if I mess up on this, it's going to be tough to get that to the right length, so I don't want to miss. I think I'm going to be, here's the line this right here is the line. You can see it kind of made it in there. That's what it goes down to for the, probably for everything. The trunk, or the side bags, and the gas tank release. I think that so I'm going to go probably a little, whatever I dig into this is probably how far up I'm going to go on the key. So again, not an easy job, for me at least. They make it look simple, but we'll see how it works out with just a hacksaw. Oh my God. That's not a cheap key, $7, but anyway, $8 but let's give it a whirl here. First of all, again, let's melt it down with the soldering iron, see how much room I got on this key. All right, so I got her set up here. And again, going to try to go in there with this soldering iron. And I'm trying to be careful here. I don't want to damage this. Again, these aren't cheap. But let's see if we can get this, I don't know how long I've had this, soldering gun to work, to get fired up here. And no light or anything to tell me it's on. Anybody want to touch that on your tongue? Let's see if it starts smoking. Let's give that a second to warm up here, guys. All right, she's getting hot, so we're just going to touch it on here and see if we can get that to melt. This is the side that I had not notched out yet. She's, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's actually working, guys, with the soldering iron. And it's almost perfect. God darn. Try to move it. Oh, I'm trying to get it a little bit wider here. God darn it, guys, this might be better than using the Dremel. This sucker's hot too. Again, this is probably the cheapest one out there as far as soldering irons go. So any soldering iron will work. But that's down now about 1/4 of an inch. This other side I already had down about the same. So I'm going to take it down a little bit more on each side. What should we go down there? 1/2 inch? I guess I can take it down further if I need to. Keep that off your wire. Ouch. Sucker's hot. Just don't touch it on the side of your... Guys, that looks pretty good there. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's notched up. My camera is just not wanting to focus for you guys. Sorry about that. But okay, let's cut the key, and then we'll adjust this, I think, as we need to fit the key. Because I still probably got another, gosh, I got another 1/2 an inch there of play. So let's do that, see what we got. Guys, here's my key. I think it's rather, it's going to be better to go longer than shorter. I can always drill down that thing a little bit further, but I want to try to get that knob as flush as I can. I think I'm going to make my mark about right here. We'll go back a little ways here, but do my start mark right there at the top. And I know that's a big mark. I'm going to go right at the top, almost all the way back on that, right in the middle, somewhere in there, right in the middle of that black mark. And I hope that will be still long enough to fit down in and get the look that I'm looking for. Again, I want that sucker down there pretty close. I might go towards the back of that the more I look at it. But there's a little bit of a lip, if you see that inside there, so it's got to clear that. I don't know. I'm going to probably hit right in the middle of that key. And let's give it a rip. Let's see if the hacksaw does the trick. I don't want you to miss anything here, so here we go. Cheap workbench, really cheap 4.5 inch vise, and 30-year-old hacksaw with a 30-year-old blade. Got my mark there, and let's do this. So yeah, who needs a Dremel, man? Use a 30-year-old hacksaw. There you go. So we're gonna melt this. I think this is gonna work out fine. Melt that down a little bit more. I unplugged my, I swear to God, I paid maybe $6 for that. I can't remember, but it was the cheapest one out there. And let's, that's notched up pretty good. We'll put one side a little bit lower. Looking good. Okay, guys, so yeah, a little bit of manipulation. Yeah, there's my dollar store light. Look how bright that is. Is that bright, Sophie?
Yeah.
Very bright. So back and forth a little bit, cut some notches, got it down a little bit more, messed around with it. Right now, it's like perfectly lined up. And I was able to stick it over here in the key, or in the keyhole, and it looks perfect, right, Sophie?
Yeah.
And so we're going to Gorilla Glue it just right as it sits and test it out here. 1 minute. All right, guys, so you definitely, a vise is almost a must-have for this little project here, because I don't know. I think if I had it to do over it again, I might do it on my other two keys, is I might super glue that first. Super glue is so much faster than this Gorilla Glue. I mean, this Gorilla Glue, you're supposed to clamp it and leave it there for 1 to 2 hours and then let it cure for 24. So my notch wasn't, of course, perfect with Mr. Soldering Iron. So I put it on the vise just perfect, and I'm lining it up here, and it looks straight as an arrow. So it's in a good spot where I think I let that dry. I put that Gorilla Glue on, pulled the key out, put it on the inside, put it around the key, dropped it back in, and then smothered it with it, which it looks like Cruiseman did too. So let's find out. I'm going to let that set up for an hour or two and then go probably overnight, and we'll come back and take a look at what she looks like in the actual slot. All right. Okay, guys, I want you to see this. Not good news. So this is what you're going to get if you center this key on the back. Okay, you see that? That does not look clean. Now, does it look horrible? No, but you can tell. You see, that's, if you're OCD, this is not going to work for you. So I'm going to show you this key. This is cut right in the center, just like my other one was. So this is a messy notch here when you do it the melt way. But see, that is right in the center there. Okay, but it does not look good on that back trunk, on the saddlebag key. So if it's going to drive you crazy, I don't know what the solution is. Maybe to just shave one side of these off. Let me get this light on here a little bit better. Maybe shave this one side off, or just flatten it down. I'm not sure. I don't know if there is a fix for that. Not sure. Okay, guys, wish I was a pro tip here. But you may want to consider, I went ahead, I'm hitting this with the cheap super glue here first. I just didn't like, I mean, this thing is supposed to be dry. I put this Gorilla Glue on here like 3 hours ago, and it's still not set up yet. So I don't like that. I'm going to, on this one, I went ahead and super glued it first, and I'll follow it up with the Gorilla Glue. But to get it set up and in where you want it, I think you got to hit it with the super glue first. And that's just unbelievable that I can still move that around. It says here that the Gorilla Glue is supposed to be set up in an hour to 2 hours, but yes, you let it cure. But that makes me kind of nervous. I mean, I don't want to lose that radio knob. But hey, I guess if it happens, that'll definitely, I think, go up front with me on the gas tank. This one I cut for the trunk, or for the, I say trunk, for the saddlebags, but I'm not real happy. I'll show you why I'm not too happy about how that turned out. But it's just offset in here. That is not in the center. Let's see if you can see that. And so I don't know what you could do to cure that either. But that key is not centered up. Now maybe this is just my bike, but it's going to be a little off when it's all said and done. It's off to the left. So do like I did and cut that key for the back one right down to the nub, because you're going to need every bit of it to clear that lip. So super glue first, followed up, I guess, with the Gorilla Glue. Okay, so what's up, YouTube? Okay, it's about 3 o'clock the next day. So this one has actually been setting up since about, I put some more Monster, or whatever it's called, Gorilla Glue, on it around 7 o'clock last night. This one is for the trunk, and I super glued that first, which I think everybody should super glue it first. I let it set up for about 20 minutes with super glue, and then I just added the Gorilla Glue. Came out a lot more cleaner. Of course, my cut was a lot better on this one too. If you didn't get to see that, but I went straight across and cut that key right down to the handle of the key. So this one first, I guess. Let's loosen this up. Okay, popped right out there. Again, I angled that. Look at that bubbly crap on there, but it doesn't really matter because let's see if we got a good fit here. Drum roll, please. Man, that's pretty much damn perfection there, guys. So real happy how that looks. That gives you the clearance right there, almost exactly what I was looking for. And then let's see if it works. Kaboom. And then it just closes. So key comes out real nice and easy. Looking good. All right, so that's one. Let's look behind here and go key number 2. This one I cut, again, a lot longer. And no file, none of that stuff. And you saw how I did the same thing and burnt it down with a soldering iron, melted it. And I actually think it might be a better job, but not too darn shabby, okay? Again, this is going to it's hard to center this up perfect. I thought I was going to cover this whole hole right here, but you notice this key is kind of, and I'll try to zoom in on that, it's sitting over to the left a little bit. Now again, I don't know if that's my bike messed up or faulty, but anything. But anyway, it looks still really good, even with that just not perfect centered. And now the big tail of the tape. Again, this one's been setting up. I made this at about 7 o'clock last night with the super glue and then the Gorilla Glue on top of it. Let's see if it turns. So turning. All right, see, if you were to leave that in there, it's a lot better than having a key stuck in there. And then let's turn it back the other way. And it came out and still looks like it's holding pretty darn strong, guys. So definitely, I think the Gorilla Glue is a smart thing, but to get it to set up first, use your other one. That really turns hard coming back there. I might, I don't know, try to, that's a tough turn, but again, that key seems to be hanging with it, or that Gorilla Glue slash super glue. So there you go. Pretty happy so far. I got one more to go, and it's for the glove compartment over here. I got to have one more key made. And the locksmith actually told me he would cut these down for me. So if you don't have a vise and you don't have all that, you don't want to mess with a hacksaw or anything, just have the locksmith do it, okay? But the problem I didn't like, I wanted to make sure that I had the right heights for everything. I'm probably going to cut this one about the same. It looks like that one and that one will be perfect. So, yeah. So if you only need two, then that's, if I only needed two, but I went ahead and bought 3 of those puppies. You know, I spent the $21 for, or 20, well, it was $30 to have 3 of those delivered. So I'm definitely going to use my last one and get the key cut down. So that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know any questions. Later, YouTube.